Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Last Judgment. What you see here is a picture that says 2020 Vision. In the background, you have Trump, Elizabeth Warren, Mark Zuckerberg, a compass, the Chinese flag, some airplanes spraying chemtrails. You have what looks to be like a virus or RFID chips. And in the center, you have artificial intelligence. Well, the reason why I'm showing you this picture is because it has quite significance. It all speaks for itself. But let's continue because you're going to see the vision. This is the cover of the Economist magazine. I don't know if anybody else has covered this, but there are words inside of this eye graph chart that need to be pointed out. Okay? So, why don't we do this? Why don't we just go to the fun stuff? Those are the words that are in there. Let's not forget, war is also inside of this. But the three things we're going to talk about today is underlined in red: artificial intelligence, Moody India, and Nightingale. For those of you who doesn't know what Project Nightingale is, I suggest you check it out. But I'm going to show you later on in this presentation of what is yet to come. But there are key words, okay? This magazine was produced in 2019, and it says the world in 2020. Now, well, they have a lot of plans, so let's just get going into the next piece from AI, Moody, and Nightingale. So, AI, this is another Economist magazine cover. Nowhere to hide. What's that tell you? Straight up and down, inside and out. What machines can tell from your face? Well, they can tell a lot, especially when you have facial features that nobody else has, but also your eyes. Your eyes are more complex than your fingerprint. So that is the new fingerprint, your face. And believe you me, there's gonna be no when everybody says Bill Gates is talking about the digital ID being a tattoo under your skin that's translucent and only can be read by ultraviolet light, that's wrong. Them people don't know what they're fucking talking about. Excuse my language, but it pretty much upsets me when these people come out and think they know what they're talking about. If they paid attention at all and they learned anything at all over all these years, they would understand that facial recognition is the mark of the beast. It's on or in your forehead. It is your face. In your forehead is your eyes because they go inside your forehead. Your face is on your forehead. Your forehead is the key word here. All right? Now, all they need to do is put you in a facial recognition system, but they need you to agree to the terms of service that you won't be able to buy, trade, or sell without your face. That is the key. Your face is the ultimate key to buying and selling when they do equip the digital currency. Okay? When they put digital currency as a mandatory, which is going to be pretty soon here because it's coming down to crashing the dollar, they're also going to be able to access all your medical records and everything else, and we're going to get to that. Very much so, we're getting to that next. But just let me explain something, okay? That all your medical records, now the RFID chip goes in your hand, all right? That is definitely going in your hand. And if you try to take it out, it's linked up to a bunch of computers that tell the government, it tells the police, it tells the hospitals if you have a flat line. If you have a flat line, that means that either A, you died, or B, you took the chip out. And let me tell you this, they're very good at medical technology. They're going to know if you're having a heart attack, a stroke, and they're going to con people into getting this chip in their hand. And they're going to tell everybody it's for convenience, for you, and for us, so that way we can better help you and equip you with medical services faster. So you no longer need to come to the hospital. If you're having chest pains, this chip will tell us, because your pulse rate will raise. Your heart will start beating faster, or you will have palpitations. This thing is going to monitor every bit of you, your temperature, everything. It's going to tell them whether or not there's a problem with you, and it will notify them, and they will send an ambulance to your house almost immediately. And there will be perks to this, but there will be downfalls. Now, here's your perks for the chip inside your hand or your face. Chip inside your hand or your face can unlock doors. You can buy things with, just like they have the smart stores. You walk in, you pick something up, and you walk out, and it takes it off your account digitally, wirelessly. No signing, no papers. No credit card signatures. There's no payment with cash. There's no running your credit card. There's no paying with swipe your phone. None of that. It is your face. Your face will be your currency. Okay? That's where it will be stored. That's how you will be able to use your currency. Now, in order for them to implement this, they need to start somewhere. So for you to understand this, we need to go to your medical records. Project Nightingale. But first, let's just shoot over to Intolerant India. Remember how I showed you Modi on this piece here? M-O-D-I. Okay? You see that right there? How Modi is endangering the world's biggest democracy? And then they have a picture of that flower. What do you think their agenda is with Intolerant India? Come on. They're putting it on the cover of the Economist magazine. Don't you think that's a little funny that they have Modi on the 2020 agenda? Well, we need to pay attention to India now, don't we? We need to pay attention to what might happen to them or what might happen with them. So that's just a little heads up. Don't really know too much about it, except for it says that they're endangering the world's biggest democracy. Okay? This is coming from the Economist magazine. So let's jump right in. Oh, just real quick, gotta do it. Gotta hit you with this. A grim calculus. Well, what is a calculus? I'm sure you can figure out. It's all about numbers. The stark choices between life, death, and the economy. So what are they telling you right there? What are they telling you? That there's going to be death because of the economy is falling apart and the food shortage. Not just because of that, but because of this fake scandemic that they have going on. Not saying that people aren't dying at all from this scandemic. But who's to say that this invisible enemy really is what they're saying it is? They haven't provided us with any proof, any scientific data, no lab proof to show us that this thing is real. They're just showing us a couple quick little pictures of what looks to be like an image of a ball with a bunch of spikes coming out of it. And then they're telling you that the symptoms are cough, cold, runny nose. Those are the beginning symptoms, and they get worse. So now they're planting the seed into your head to get you to believe that you might have this scam that they're propagandizing through the television. Because we all know that the news channels are not telling us the truth. Look at CNN. Look at World News with David Muir. Got caught, literally in the act, got caught promoting a video saying there was an attack on Turkey. Well, the video that they showed of all the gunfire and the explosions was actually from a Kentucky gun show. Isn't that quite interesting? And when you compare the two side by side and you play them at the same time, they're identical. You can't imitate the same explosions, the same amount of gunfire and red streaks going through the sky in the same pattern. I don't care how good of a photo editor you are. Now here's where you know that they did what they did. Before we move on with this video, I'm just going to give you a jewel. I'm going to drop a gem, okay? When you look at the Kentucky gun show, at the bottom, there's a bunch of people out there watching and recording with their phones. Well, if you watch or compare the video side by side from the nightly news, the world news by David Muir, you'll see that they have this bar over the bottom, kind of looking like a dashboard in front of your steering wheel. But it's covering over the people, and they darkened the video just a little bit so you couldn't see the heads of the people that were just above that little bar. Okay? They have been caught outright. And I will be getting you that video and putting that up just for you. Just so you could see that your news are liars. And they all work together. Don't think for once that Fox News and CNN ain't buddy-buddy and eating dinner with each other. Don't think that. Because I'll tell you what, out here in the real world, from what I know, from my experience with public defenders and judges, they eat together in the restaurants, because the restaurants I go to, I see public defenders that I know. I see the judges that I know, that I grew up with when I was in school. They used to be my teachers. And they're sitting there eating with the public defender, talking about court cases. I literally sat there, not to take you off the subject, but I'm giving you a little bit of my personal experience from what I witnessed personally. These people literally sat there, and I'm hearing their conversations about these court cases, and the judge telling the public defender, the public pretender, telling him, offer him 90 days, but the least I'm going to do is 30. Make sure you get me that. If you can get me the 90, even better. And I'm listening to this, and he's telling him, he's like, all right. He's like, that's one for me. Now, what do you want? He says to the public defender. The public defender says, instead of my client pleading guilty to this and taking 6 months, let me give him 90 days. Let me give him the offer of 90 days. He'll take it. I'll make sure of it. And so the judge is like, okay, you got one. Now it's my turn. And I'm literally sitting there listening to these people bullshit and dicker over these people's lives. You understand? They're working deals out. Now, it goes a lot deeper than that. It's all about the... I don't know if I really want to get into it and talk about it, but it's about sovereignty and the bank accounts that they're trying to access, because your name is just a fictitious name, and it's a trust and executor and beneficiary. There's a lot to explain when it comes down to that. But I hope the information that I'm giving you is quite intriguing to you. You know, I figured let me throw a few bones in there, because I just wanted to explain to you how the system really works. I mean, I have firsthand experience with this. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, all right? When it says a grim calculus, the stark choices between life, death, and the economy, take a look down bottom. Each one of those pick a fences that looks like a picket fence is actually a mass grave site with 5 bodies in each grave. Okay? Those are 5 bodies in each grave. And there's a church in the background, basically signifying death to religion. And that brings another topic to mind about Bill Gates and some other people talking about a vaccine called FunVax that wants to alter the brains to where people are disgusted with religion instead of going after it. But that's for another topic. Notice on each side of the magazine, there's a cross to your left near the picket fence. Let's just zoom right in. You see that cross right there? Now let's slide over and take a look at the upside down cross. Quite interesting, huh? Some people will probably try to say, oh no, that's just where the picture cuts off. Those are actually more of those marker things. Actually, those are meant to imply the right side up cross and the upside down cross, which means the battle. There's a battle. There's a war going on. Life and death and money. There's a big war going on between religions, which is Satanism, Christianity. The Bible forewarned of all this, okay? But let's move on because I wanted to bring you to the main topic here. Project Nightingale is a data storage and processing project by Google Cloud and Ascension. What a hell of a name, Ascension, huh? And Cloud, Google Cloud and Ascension? You think those might have some rhetoricalness to it, some biblicalness to it? Oh, and let's keep reading. A Catholic healthcare system comprising a chain of 2,600 hospitals, doctors' offices, and other related facilities in 21 states, with tens of millions of patient records available for processing healthcare data. Wait, what? Hold up. What? Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, that's right. Look it up on YouTube. You'll come across a CBSN news video about Project Nightingale and how they've been doing this in secret behind our backs. That's right, folks. The news tells you that they've been doing it in secret behind our backs. I could have made a better video than this. I really could have. I could have sat there. I could have edited in the piece of the video. Hell, I still might do it. I don't know. Maybe I'll save it for the end of this video so that way you can hear about it. And they try to justify, because at the same time that they try to make something look bad, they're also promoting it. Just by talking about it, they're promoting it. Now, they try to make excuses for why they're doing this and doing that, and why they're doing it in secret, and why they're not telling people, and why they should be able to do it in secret, but it's wrong. You got to understand, these people contradict themselves. The news does not have your best interest at heart at all whatsoever, and nor will it. Okay? Because it's a total totalitarian state. Look at John F. Kennedy when he did if you want to look it up, the speech on secret societies, on how he said it was very repugnant and very dangerous that these people are out there all around the world as one society. And he says, clearly states, that it's a one world order that they're trying to create. He literally uses those words, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a joke. You can go to John F. Kennedy's secret society speech, and you'll hear the whole speech. It's probably about 20 minutes long, and you'll hear everything you want to hear. Now, you want to know why he got killed? That's why he got killed. Okay? The shooting came from 3 different places, but only one guy was found and responsible for it, gee, you don't think the CIA had their hand in that? Sure they did. John F. Kennedy was exposing all of it about how they wanted your information, how they wanted to control you, how they wanted to control the news, propagandize the news, censor it, and not tell you the truth. And in that video, he's calling for the truth to be told. But look at this, though. Project Nightingale. Most of you probably had never even heard of this. Is a data storage and processing project by Google Cloud and Ascension. Okay? And look at this. A Catholic healthcare system comprising of a chain of 2,600 hospitals, doctors' offices, and other related facilities in 21 states. Why Catholic? Why not the Christians? Why not the evangelicals? Why not Satanists? Why not the government? Why Catholic? Which brings me back to this. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Take a good look. You're looking at a Catholic church that wants to run the show. They want to be the influencers. The Catholics, they don't have the same agreements as Christians and Muslims and everybody else. They're fighting for dominance amongst the society. And let me tell you something. If you're Catholic, you may not like the sound that I'm about to make, but ee-haw, ee-haw, they're donkeys. The people that are running the show, that are programming the faithful people that believe in God, are being programmed. And it's no different than Trump and Hillary Clinton battling each other on stage. They're going after each other. Trump says, I'm going to jail you. I'm going to throw you in jail. You vote for me, and she's going to jail as soon as I get office. What the fuck happened? Nothing happened. That's what happened. They went to the fucking dinner after the inauguration, after he won the election, and he roasted her at the dinner. It's all part of the game. And what'd she do? She laughed at all the jokes that Trump was making. Why? Because they're all in this big secret society, these big Freemasonic societies and Illuminatis and elites. Okay? Trump is throwing you off, man. Trump is not who he says he is. They've programmed people to accept him from the very beginning. And they were going to choose him no matter what. You think you have rights? Why are you even voting? Why are you even showing up to the polls? It's not like you have a say-so anyways. Let's get real. Well, my thing is this, okay? You look at Trump when he got that letter from Kim Jong-un, that big giant letter that Trump decided he was going to hold down at his waist side like an apron. A Freemasonic apron. You know what that was, don't you? Because they asked Trump, what'd you think of the letter? And he says, it's a great letter. It's a wonderful letter, but I haven't read it yet. That was his answer. Word for word, verbatim. And I know what I'm talking about. How's he know it's a great letter and a wonderful letter if he states right after that he hasn't read it yet, but I haven't read it yet? Because he knows what it signifies. He knows that Kim Jong-un accepted. Kim Jong-un bowed down to Trump and accepted for membership into this Freemasonic world. But Kim Jong-un had to play ball, but at the same time, they didn't want him to change too much. They told him to continue to keep doing what you're doing because we can't have anybody catching on. Do you understand the kind of play that's going on here? They're all fucking actors. I did a video where the guy admits that Bernie Sanders changed the way that actors act on the stage. I don't want to hear that shit. Oh, that's just figuratively speaking. No, I don't want to hear that because it's the truth. They're admitting to you, throwing it in your face, and acting serious at the same time that they're throwing it in your face and telling you after Bernie Sanders dropped out, he's given a statement. This guy has given a statement saying, well, Bernie Sanders really changed the way actors act on the stage. That blew my fucking mind when I heard that, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. All right? Well, let's just jump back into this because I don't want to keep taking you all over the place. I'm just venting. I'm just, giving you straight up without a chaser. This is a diamond that's not really in the rough. It's nice and shiny because there's no real diamond in the rough. They're all worth money. Okay? So let's just keep going now that you know you got the key. All right? Nightingale. You got the Economist magazine supporting AI. Nightingale, which is your data, your information, all your healthcare information. Okay? Let's just show you what that is talking about. Okay, it says here, paging nurses Google. The tech giant is teaming with Ascension on an ambitious project to crunch patients' data for treatment and administrative purposes. Okay, how Project Nightingale intends to use data. Number one, patient checks into hospital, doctor's office, or senior care center. Number two, doctors/nurses examine the patient, input the data into the computer. Data that is shared includes name, date of birth, addresses, family members, allergies, immunizations. Well, look at that, immunizations. Isn't that something? And if you don't have your immunizations and they make it mandatory, well, they know where you live or any addresses that you may have. And if they can't find you there, then they'll go to your family members. And it'll probably get worse for you if you don't want them to suffer. Now, radiology scans, hospitalization records, lab tests, medications, and medical conditions. Well, they're going to use all that against you. If they got to put an APB out on you on the news, well, what do you think they're going to use against you? They're going to use everything against you. They're going to say you're unstable. They're going to say you have mental health disorder. They're going to fake the documents, even if they have to. Number three, data instantly flows to Google's Project Nightingale system. The system may suggest the following outcomes, among others. Treatment plans, suggests tests, flags, unusual, I can't really read it. It's so small for my eyes. Deviations of care. Replacement or addition of doctors to patient's team. Additional enforcement of narcotics policies. Ascension may bill more or for different procedures. May bill more? Wow, so you're saying that your bills can increase? That's pretty interesting. Now, I just want to bring you to something real quick. This is the heat map, okay? Now we go to this AI tracking you thing. Remember in the beginning of this video, I showed you the AI. You can't hide. All right. Well, now this is getting people used to the idea of being tracked by having what they call, Fox News calls it, the heat map from Johns Hopkins. It's basically showing you all the hot zones of where the coronavirus is. And what's wrong with this map? Can anybody tell me? I know. Why is it that the United States is the only fucking country that is 85% infected? 85%, ladies and gentlemen. Let's think about that. Okay? What's their agenda behind that? Number one, this isn't just a COVID-19 tracking map. It's also a heat sensor map of the amount of people that they're tracking using their specialty 5G. 5G plays a role in this heat signature map because they read your heat signature. They read infrared patterns. Artificial intelligence has got its hand written all over this. All right? They are the demons. They are the fallen angels. Many may not want to hear that. They may not want to believe that. But there's plenty of movies that show you that they become self-aware, repairing themselves, doing all other kinds of shit, building more advanced. We've been building their weapons. We've been building everything they need. Their transportation, their weapons, their currency, everything. You got smart bombs, smart missiles, smart drones. Okay? We built their eyes and ears first so they could study us. And that's called Big Brother. Okay? They figured out a way to trick us, to conquer us. That's what they did. Okay? And their transportation, smart cars. Their currency, digital. But we're going to use all that. That's going to be ours immediately. But then, after time goes by, shit's going to go downhill for us. But let's not jump that far ahead. That's going to be emerged. Now, I found this quite interesting. This was in a movie in 2019, and it says Corona light. And look at what's underneath the guy, or underneath that light. It looks to me like a person's head coming up out of the water. And it looks to me like two hands, one on each side of the head, up out of the water, like it's got its hands up. And it would have to be a giant, would it not, to be in that shallow of water coming up out? Maybe the giants are running the show, which are the Nephilim right now. You know, the giants being the elites. And it just so happens to say today's specials, wash your hands. Are you fucking kidding me? They were throwing subliminals in a movie. And this is like a 2-second shot. This is a 2-second shot. They pan to it and right back off. And I just happened to catch it with my eyes. And I said, wait a minute. Let me rewind that. So I rewound it. I took a look at it. I says, well, I'm not going to take a screenshot of this if it's not before 2020. Lo and behold, it's a 2019. So I says, I got to get a screenshot of this. People got to see this. So that, I figured I'd throw that in there. That's just a bonus. This just goes to show you that they are programming people with the word corona. Wash your hands. Those are the two main things. Okay? Two main things that are in there. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a rude awakening if you think you still have your rights. You don't have any rights anymore. I don't know if you've been paying attention to anybody's videos that they've been making about the executive orders and how Trump signed the declaration and the executive order of the declaration declaring a national emergency in all 50 states for the first time ever in history. Has the United States ever done that? And when that happens, it's declared a federal disaster declaration. That's what the executive order empowers. What that does is it hands power from the president over to FEMA. Complete control of all infrastructures, all food industries, all water, all energy, all banks, monetary system, everything. It gives them complete control to do with what they need to do with. And the World Health Organization is in on that. And they're talking about taking people out of their homes and subduing them in come on, ladies and gentlemen. You can't be this naive. You got to really wake the fuck up and see the bigger picture. We no longer have rights. Our constitutional rights that you think you have been suspended for up to 6 months. Read the executive order. Read the executive order about your constitutional rights when that federal emergency disaster declaration went into effect, when Trump signed it over. He no longer has power, and it can't be reviewed by Congress for 6 months. So FEMA has all control. That's why when Mike Pompeo came on stage, on the world stage, and said, this is a live exercise, Trump looks at him. The look on Trump's face when he lifted his head was a surprised look, and said, you should have told us. Well, why didn't Mike Pompeo tell him first? Mike Pompeo just did it and then announced it, and Trump's reaction, his body language, and what he said it all. He don't have any more power. And then he uses the words on the stage, when I was your president. Was? What do you mean, was, motherfucker? You're supposed to still be. What are you implying? That somebody else is in power? Okay. Well, look at the presidential seal. I've heard a lot of people say, oh no, they took that off because there's more than one people speaking in that room, and normally they don't address in that room. The president normally doesn't address in that room. It's normally the lady that was up there, Huckabee, or whatever the fuck her name was, Sarah. That presidential seal was up there even when she was speaking. It was up there when he was speaking, and all of a sudden it got taken off. Like nobody fucking noticed that. People are just now seeing that. I've made videos already on my channel that tell you that was missing immediately. And I said that something's wrong. The only way that seal disappears is if he's no longer in power. And if he does happen to stand in front of a podium that has the presidential seal on it, it's because it's a tactic to make you still think that he's president. They're pulling the wool over your eyes. I think it's time that you wake up. They have a bigger agenda here at hand, and it's called mass population control. And I don't like to call it that tracking system that everybody's calling it, contact tracking, contact tracing. No, call it slave tracing, slave contacting. It's Big Brother, and that's exactly what they're going to continue to do. They're going to continue to keep implementing all these phases as the news has got everybody all discombobulated and fucked up and arguing amongst each other, and the Republicans against the Democrats, the red versus the blue. Well, ain't our fucking flag red, white, and blue? Well, who the fuck is the white in the flag? The American people. That's right. Just a plain old white color. And they're the red and blue fucking us. Believe you me, people, it's all an act. And we've already lost our rights. Get ready for your vaccination, your mandatory vaccination. The only thing I'm going to say to end this video is, if you're strong enough to refuse it, and you don't get your identification system, which is your face, scanned in, you're going into a jail cell. And they're going to keep you there until you fucking get that chip. And they're going to give you a time limit in that jail cell. They're going to give you a time limit. They're going to do to you what they did to Jesus. They wanted Jesus to admit that he wasn't the Son of God, and to tell everybody that he lied. And he wouldn't do that. They want control over your free will. They want your free will in their control. Remember that. And they couldn't do that to Jesus. They couldn't control his free will. They could control everything else. They could beat them. They could whip them. They could put them even to death. But they could not control what his decision was in the end. Now, that's what they want to do with everybody. So if you hold fast and you hold strong and you're still watching this video, the most important part of this video is now. You will be saved. You will have to endure lots of torture, lots of pain, lots of scrutiny. You will be looked at like the most disgusting piece of shit in the world. You will be compared to Jesus. You will be treated like Jesus was. So, if you hold fast in your belief, you will be free when you die. You will have everlasting life, eternity. And I'm spreading the message. I'm spreading what God wants to be spread. Trying to wake people up. The only thing you can do now is refuse and save your life. Don't refuse and you've lost it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is Last Judgment.